So the last few weeks, there's been a lot of conversation about mental health, depression, anxiety. Right from our Prime Minister to the Parliament to celebrities, everybody's talking about. Clearly, it's not just a new trend or something that people have suddenly realized. It's been around for a while and it went unaddressed, and now we're finally realizing what a big problem it is. Just like our bodies work differently from each other's, our brains also work differently from each other's. There is no reason for you to ever feel bad or ashamed or less of a person if your brain acts differently from other people's. And that's literally what mental illness is. I think the first step would be to figure out what kind of treatment you're looking for and what kind of treatment would be best suited for you, and understand the difference between psychiatry, psychology and therapy. Whatever you do, please do not self-diagnose. This is not something you can go online and say, hey, it sounds like me, and say, okay, this is who I am. Of course, it helps to have good support structures and discuss it with your friends, talk about it, but nothing beats proper professional help. And there's a reason for this. Our friends can be very understanding and empathetic and care for us deeply, but they're not professionally trained. They may not have the tools to help us. Like all illnesses, every day, every week, every month, every year that this goes untreated, it gets worse. It gets harder to fix. There's a lot of conversation about depression and anxiety, but there's a lot of other illnesses out there, and sometimes we do not know that that's what's wrong with us, and we need professional opinion for that. And a lot of the things that are affecting us, they may need clinical intervention because they're clinical problems to begin with, and they can't just be wished away or talked away. I think one of the other things that we can do outside of external intervention is talk more openly about it, write more openly about it, and be there for each other. We're all dealing with our own private hell all the time, and sometimes people don't let it show, but they are, and it's always good to be empathetic. Please never tell somebody that their problems are not big enough, that others have it worse, because that does not help. It just makes the other person feel worse. There is relatively affordable mental health care available. There are people who are willing to waive off their consult fee or reduce it significantly if they feel that you need it. A good mental health care professional will not be judgmental. They will maintain confidentiality and they will respond to you with empathy and love. I will be sharing a database of mental health care professionals who have been vetted and are known to be empathetic, affordable, and just generally great. One of the worst things about mental illness is that it makes you feel less of a person. You feel paralyzed and you feel like you can't do things. Start finding small things that make you feel better about yourself. It could be reading, it could be writing, it could be cooking, it could be small hobbies, but they all add up. And over a period of time, you look back and you realize that you did a lot of things and that you use your time, you develop new skills, and that's great. And the best part is that you get to decide the goals and parameters. For some of you, it might be fitness. For some of you, it might be cooking. For some of you, it might be new languages. Also, be really careful of using the wrong tools to deal with your problems. Alcohol and drugs make mental illnesses far worse. This might not go down well with everybody, but know that there is a huge correlation between schizophrenia and use of marijuana, and that sucks. You can literally do whatever you want as long as you're aware of the consequences of it on your brain and on your body. Okay, that turned into a PSA really quickly. My point was, don't try and look for easy solutions because there are none. Small things take time, but they're worth it. How do you respond when somebody you care about is diagnosed with a mental illness or they tell you that they're not okay? Most people hide how they're feeling on the inside, especially people with mental illness, because they're worried that they'll be judged or abandoned or unloved. If you think somebody you know or care for is not okay, please bring it up with them, talk to them, try and help them find the right kind of care and be there for them. Also note that therapy is not just for people who are quote-unquote clinically ill. It's for everybody. If you think you're having difficulties, just talk to someone. And there's no problem that's too big or too small. Whether it's exams or heartbreak or jobs, everything can get to us and there's no shame in admitting it. One of the most amazing things about the internet is that you will find people from all over the world who have similar experiences and they're happy to share them with you. And remember, it is okay to not be okay all the time.